Well, very big news is that the TEFL Lemon 180-hour higher certificate of TESOL is finally and completely finished, which is a big rock off of my back. But in order what I'm going to do, I'm going to tell you all about the course and all about the units and everything. But before I begin, I just want to tell you how the process began, why I decided to write a course. And it goes all the way back to 2014. So this is when I started off TEFL Lemon as a small blog in China, and I was making lesson plan ideas and materials, worksheets, flashcards, articles, just different ideas. And this was my passion. I wasn't making any money from it. And every week or twice a week or something, I would post a worksheet that I had produced, or a new set of flashcards, or some games, ways that you can use flashcard games, how you can introduce listening into your classes, just different stuff. I'm very passionate about language education, so it was my little baby basically. I was working full-time. I was just kind of doing it as a side thing just to make materials for other people. So I was doing that, and I guess my audience grew, kind of thing, and people were sharing my games and ideas, and I got a pretty big following in China. I think it was like the biggest English language or biggest English teaching blog in the English language in China at the time. I think it still is. But that's what I was doing. And then in 2016, I wrote my first book, which was 129 different TEFL Lemon flashcard games. And like it said on the tin, it had 129 different games that you could play using flashcards that were already available in your school. And the next year, I come out with the second book, which is the big book of classroom warmers and games. And again, it was a book for teachers that they could play warmers and games in their classes. Had 80 different games, and I take it's a little bit of a fault of mine, really. I take I'm a bit of a perfectionist. All of the images have got to be perfect, all of like the layout and everything. And importantly, it's got to be really easy to understand, because you know, I'm a teacher. You're busy in the teacher's office. You've got tons of classes that day, and you need something fast. And if you want to pick something up and immediately understand what it is that you're reading, and you can run with it and go with it, and it works. So that's what I did. And to be honest, I got really good at it, writing really nice materials that were really aesthetically pleasing, look great, easy to use, really understandable, and they worked. So and that's what I was doing. And I guess TEFL Lemon got bigger and bigger, and the quality of the work that I was producing was pretty high, to be honest. And around 2019, or just before, quite a big TEFL company contacted me, and they said, you know, Stu, you know, you've got quite an audience now. You've got your website, tefllemon.com, and you've got your blog. Would you like to represent us to help us find people that want to do TEFL training with us? So I said yeah, and I was making a small commission per kind of sign up for them. And I did that, I guess, for about a year or so. And then I said to them, look, would you let me enroll in your course? Because, you know, I'd read the bump and everything they had sent to me, and it looked really nice. But I said, let me do your course so I can really get a feel for it as a learner. And then I'll be able to, you know, talk about the course with much more accuracy as a learner. And, you know, talk about each unit in more detail, because I've actually done it. So that's what I did. And to be completely honest, I won't mention the company, but I was very disappointed. I thought it was pretty poor, to be honest. It wasn't a great course. It was poorly ordered. It was pixelated, all of the graphics, and the bits about technology within there. It talked about kind of tape cassettes, and I was like, tape cassettes? Like, really? In 2019, does anybody still use tape cassettes? And I just thought it was a lazy course which needed a lot of updating. And in a nutshell, I went away and I'm thinking, do you know what? I'm good at making materials. I think I can do a better job. I'm very passionate. I know my stuff. I'd already started my master's in applied linguistics and TESOL. I've got 20 years of experience plus all of this like kind of graphic artwork and stuff. Can I do it? And I thought more and more about it, and I was like, do you know what? I'm going to give this a go. I'm going to try to write a TEFL course of my own. A huge project, and you know, bear in mind that the 129 different TEFL Lemon flashcard games and the big book of classroom warmers and games, both of them took me about 4 months of nearly full-time work to complete. It was they were both big projects. It burned me out actually. I kind of needed a holiday, especially after the first one. But I thought, yeah, I can do this. I've got the know-how. I think I've got the skills, and let's see what I can do. Let's just give it a go. So I did, and that was in 2019. So I began the writing process for it, and I was very determined to use really up-to-date research. So because I was already doing my masters, I was used to like looking for papers, looking for really like good literature within, you know, whatever topic that I was studying for my masters at the time. So I thought, well, first things first, I need to think about the topics very carefully. Which topic should I choose for my course? And because I was running TEFL Lemon, I had a very big audience of experienced teachers. I was like, well, look, you know, many hands make light work kind of thing. Why don't I survey the TEFL Lemon community and ask them, right, the course that you did, what do you think was essential within that course? What was missed out? Importantly, what wasn't in your course, and what makes the perfect what would make the perfect online language TEFL or TESOL course? So I asked 5,000. Well, I asked everybody, and I got about 5,000 answers back. Over 5,000 answers back, and they ranged. You know, it's like this teacher said that. This teacher said this teacher said that. But over the 5,000, I collated all the information, I took all of the data, and I took the most commonly, you know, the ones that kept popping up again and again and again. So what I did, I chose 20 of the most popular kind of answers that kept coming up, and that informed my decision about the course. And then the next thing that I did was to think about the order, right? And the order is super important. You know, if you've got no experience whatsoever as a teacher, you can't just get thrown in at the deep end, like, right, okay, now plan a lesson. Like, oh, wait, what? I don't know what to do. I don't know anything about teaching. So I had to think very carefully about the order, to gently take people who had never done any kind of teaching before, which was all of us at one stage, right? And take them through from the very beginning in baby steps, very like digestible chunks of information, and they get better and they get more confidence and they grow through the course. And by the end of Unit 20, they're ready to go into the classroom and teach language, and that was the whole idea. So I picked the 20 units. I thought very, very carefully about the order, and I began writing. And what I also wanted to do was to create a course that was vibrant and fun and contemporary and modern. That was full of artwork and like little kind of quirky cartoons. I didn't want this course to be the same as the rest. Boring, black and white, you know, send you to sleep kind of thing. I want it to be interesting, engaging, full of, like I say, full of like electricity and energy, but also really, really clear, really understandable, so literally anybody can pick this up and understand what it is that I'm trying to say. So after I'd written the 20 units, during that process of writing the 20 units, and it was a very difficult process, but very enjoyable. I mean, because I already love making materials, and I really put my heart and soul into every page, the smallest detail. I really went into it with like a fine-tooth comb, just trying to make each page pop, basically, like all thousands of them. And what I did next, I had to speak to some accreditation bodies, and again, like I didn't know any of this stuff. Basically, I just knew that courses need to be accredited, but I didn't really understand why. I just kind of knew that a course, if it wasn't accredited, it didn't have that panache, that seal of approval kind of thing from this third party, but I didn't really know what they did. So I'm actually going to make a different separate video on the accreditation process, because I think it needs to. Maya and Katie from the accreditation body, they'll be watching this video or the next one, like kind of chuckling to themselves. It was a really long, tricky process, and I couldn't have done it without them. Like what I thought was the perfect course, when I gave it to them, they said, this is good, but yeah, you need this. You need to think about that. You haven't done that enough. And they made all of these amazing recommendations. Again, I'll do this in a separate video, but they made all of these amazing recommendations that it was like red, amber and green. Green is a pass. It's fine. It meets their very high standards. Amber is like, we don't understand why you've done this, explain it to us. Let us see your vision. And if you explain it to us well enough, it's fine. And the red is like, it's not past, you need to change something. So yeah, I got multi different colours, mainly greens, but there was some ambers in there, and there was definitely some reds in there. So I had to go back to the drawing board pretty much with a lot of these units and change a lot of stuff. But anyway, I'll talk about that on a different video. But now here we are in 2023. It's been fully accredited by ACDEC. You can, I mean, the link and everything will be below, so you can look at the course on our website and everything. But it is a belter. It's 20 glorious units of really good teacher training, amazing content, easy to understand, concise, and it will really help you to be a good teacher. And that's if you're completely new to TEFL, or you're a seasoned pro that's looking for professional development opportunities and just a different angle of how to teach. This will help all people that are interested in teaching language, whether you're a newbie or a pro. It's a great course for you to take. Alright, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to talk about each of the 20 units quite briefly. What then I hope to do is to make more videos in detail about each unit. So I'm just kind of like scratch the surface from the beginning all the way to the end. Alright, so without further ado, Unit 1 is like an introduction to TEFL. So this is mainly for people who are completely new to teaching. They've kind of heard of TEFL or ESL, EFL, all these terms and stuff, but they don't really know what any of it means. So basically, it's an easy introduction into the course. It explains what all of these terms mean, who are learning English around the world, why it's good to be an English teacher, why English teachers are needed. Just something about the industry to give everyone a firm footing to understand about language teaching, who does it, where it's done, what type of different language teaching that there is. different contexts. It talks about context and things like that. So, and also in Unit 1, it lays out the roadmap for the rest of the course, how trainees are assessed, what they can expect, what they need to look out for, and just some kind of guidance for the rest of the course. So a nice, easy start. Unit 2 is about what makes a good teacher. What are the traits of a good teacher? What kind of things you can think about to develop? And it also looks at what makes a good learner. What is a learner? What is a language learner? The different traits of a good learner. So teachers can study this unit and think about the basic skills that you can hone and look to improve in order to be a better teacher. Unit 3 looks at grammar and the importance of grammar. Yes, that dreaded grammar that lots of, especially native speakers, are very, very scared of, because we're very good at speaking English. We do it without effort because we're native speakers. When it comes to teaching it, that's where the problem comes, and that's where non-native teachers definitely have an edge, because they've learned English before, they know what it feels like, they know what all of these grammar terms mean, and they've had grammar lessons. So that's where non-native teachers have an edge. Learning grammar and being able to teach grammar is very, very important. It gives learners the confidence to speak in longer sentences, in longer accurate sentences, and it also improves their fluency. So Unit 3 is all about grammar. I've tried to write it because when I was learning grammar, doing my initial TEFL training in Brighton, it scared the life out of me. I didn't know any of these terms, like present perfect and nouns and verbs and adverbs and adjectives. I didn't know what any of them were. I promise you, you won't believe it, but it's true. I can speak English fluently, the terms and stuff. How to teach grammar, no clue. So I tried to write it with myself in mind, because there's plenty of people out there who don't really know anything about grammar. They find it daunting, just the word grammar, they find it daunting. They believe that they can't do it, and they're never going to be good enough, and people believe that every English teacher knows how to teach grammar, but personally they don't. It's not true. Lots of people, it freaks tons of people out. So I've written Unit 3 basically to make everything very, very understandable, all of these terms, and it's really well presented, very, very clearly presented. Unit 4 is about lesson planning structures, how you can use lesson plans to help you to lay out a lesson, how you can break that hour down, how you can start to present language. Later on, you get lots and lots of practice in how to plan lessons, and you're going to get experience, you're going to get feedback, you get really good tutor feedback on the TEFL Lemon higher certificate course. But Unit 4, it introduces these structures. Unit 5 is all about classroom management, how you can get your students to feel motivated, to be really interested in your classes, and importantly how to avoid that bad behaviour that lots of people are quite worried about. Lots of experienced teachers, they might have students or children that misbehave, muck around in lessons, speaking their own language too much, not listening to teachers, shouting, being disrespectful. And it's very stressful on teachers when your students act in that way. You don't enjoy your job, you want to go home, you don't want to do it that much anymore. So Unit 5 is all about classroom management, how you can manage your class really well, use the materials and what's given to you, like your whiteboards, your tables, your chairs, all of the tools that are available to you, you can use them in the best possible way. And Unit 5 is all about how to manage your class, so how to get the best out of your students and how to help them to raise their motivation And we look at something called the motivation cycle, how your students can feel motivated, you yourself are motivated, and because you're happy and you come into the classroom with a stride, and you can lift your students and you feel lifted yourself, and you basically have a much more enjoyable job, and you see the results in your students as well, much better results. That's Unit 5. Unit 6 is all about tenses, the past, the present and the future, and how we can arrange sentences within English to talk about different periods of time and what happened in the past, what's going to happen in the future, when to use it, how to form questions, how to form answers. And again, it's really laid out in a very simple way, very understandable, and it's also got some good teaching activities you can use for when you're teaching the past, when you're teaching the present, when you're teaching the future. It's got some amazing games and speaking activities as part of that unit. Unit 7 is all about integrating technology into your classroom. This could be tablets, it could be mobile phones, it could be using music, video clips, doing something called flip learning, blended learning, and it's basically how you can get technology, which all of us use, right? All of the time. You've got the phone in your pocket or in front of you right now. You're on a laptop right now. We use it's a big part of our lives, and how can we harness that in classrooms? Language teaching, it lags behind technology. I mean, you use technology all the time. You're always on apps. You spend hours of each day on the computer, but how much do you really use it if you're already a language teacher in your classroom? Could you use it more effectively? Could you use it more? How could you use technology to get better learning outcomes from your students? And that's what Unit 7 is all about, and it will give you tips and skills and the know-how of how to do that. Unit 8 is about teaching pronunciation. Before, the gold standard was to teach like British. You must sound British. You must sound like an American. That is nonsense. The most important thing is something called intelligibility. How much can your students be understood? How much can they understand others? Lots of research has gone into basically most English speakers, most English language learners, people who are learning English, they're not really going to be speaking English with native speakers. They're more likely to be speaking English with other people, using it as a lingua franca, as a medium, like for example a Brazilian person whose native language is Portuguese might be speaking to someone from Germany whose native language is German, but they use English as the medium to communicate with each other. And so it's not practical to try to force your students to sound English or Australian or American or anything like that. The most important thing is intelligibility. So we look at how to teach pronunciation, how to improve pronunciation, how to give quality feedback so that your students know how to improve. So it's a fantastic unit. It's one of the longest on the course. Unit 9 is all about how the age of the learner is important. Whether you are teaching kindergarten kids or primary, teen years, university, or people within business, they all have different needs, and you as a teacher need to change your approach depending on the context that you're teaching. So we look at different profiles of students and how that age will affect them as learners, and so that we can understand so that you can understand your classes better and teach more effectively and get better results from your learners. So that's what Unit 9 is all about. Unit 10 is how to teach vocabulary, and vocabulary, lots of people think, oh, it's words, right? It's not just words, it's chunks of language as well. Phrases, short phrases, and all of this can be understood as vocabulary, and it's very, very important. Remember, without grammar, we can say very little, but without vocabulary, we can say nothing at all. And so Unit 10 is all about how to teach vocabulary, what vocabulary to teach, how we should look at vocabulary and decide what is important for your learner, what is irrelevant for your learner, what do we need to skip, what do we need to double up on. So within Unit 10 you're going to learn about that, and also methods that your students will be able to recall vocabulary for much longer periods of time, giving them better confidence when they're speaking English. Unit 11 is super important, and it's about lesson planning. It kind of goes back and looks at lesson structures from Unit 4, but this one is much more in depth, really what you should be adding, what to think about, what's important to be added into lessons, and you get the opportunity to make a lesson plan which you will send to your tutor to get feedback on. And yeah, it starts to give you those skills. This course is a very practical course. Not only do we teach you stuff, we ask you to show what you've learned. It's very, very important by the end of this course that you're able to go into a classroom and show off what you know. And we give you opportunities at regular intervals throughout the higher certificate in TESOL course. So at the end of Unit 11 you'll make a short lesson plan and you'll send that over to your tutor and get that feedback at the end. Unit 12 is about supplementary materials and how you can use them to give a better, really pack out your lesson. So this could be with video clips, it could be with realia, newspapers, pictures, magazines, maps, toys, blocks, just different stuff that you can use. Puppets, if you're teaching kindergarten, like a puppet is an amazing tool to bring in to teach language. So Unit 12 is all about supplementary materials and how you can use them to give a much better experience within your classes, get more engagement, get more speaking, get more smiles. And it's also got tons of games in there as well. So it's supplementary materials and games. And remember, that's my background, so I've got tons of them and they're all there within Unit 12. Unit 13 is all about the production skills, speaking and writing. How to teach speaking and how to teach writing. So there's an art to teaching speaking. There's lots of things that you should think about. For students, by far, it's the most important thing to them is, you know, when they start off as an English language learner, there's been lots of research done, lots of surveys and questions, and it's speaking that students want to get good at. That's what they want to improve the most. It's the most important to them. When they think of learning English, they're not really thinking about listening or anything. It's the ability to produce language, the ability to speak. So Unit 13 is about how to teach speaking and also how to teach writing. So we look at the writing process, different styles of writing. We've got some wonderful real examples of second language learner writing examples, which we've been kindly given permission to use within the course. It's an awesome course. It's packed full of really good stuff, yeah, those writing examples, they're real kids basically that are learning English. We examine the language and also how you can improve the awareness of writing using punctuation and everything, and in a fun way. It's an engaging unit. Unit 14 is about assessment, how you can use assessment to your advantage, how you can use it to improve your own teaching, and different assessment methods for your students, and how you can improve their learning and make them more motivated and understand what they're doing right, understand how they can improve, how to give feedback on the assessment, and how to differentiate tasks as well. Within any language class, you're going to get different levels of ability, and it's important that you differentiate and adapt your tasks so to give everyone a good crack of the whip. Don't just teach one way. If you can get it, that's great. If you don't get it, tough luck. We need to avoid that. So Unit 14 is how to assess, how to use assessment to help you, and how to differentiate tasks. Unit 15 is all about how to teach online. Within 10 years, I think within 10 years, there will be more learners learning English online than there will be within schools. That's huge. A very big change in the dynamics of teaching English. But lots of, and especially during COVID, and we talk about COVID within the TEFL Lemon course. Again, it's a very modern, up-to-date course. The effect that COVID had. Overnight, thousands of English teachers were asked to teach online for the very first time, with students who were quarantined, they were on lockdown, they couldn't get out of their home, but language lessons continued, and lots of English teachers, oh, you know, I don't know what to do, I've never done this before. Sat in front of a screen, and there's a real art to it. There's things that you should do, things that you should avoid, and this course is, this unit examines those things, how you can be a better online teacher, how you can make better online lessons, and things that you can think about in order to get better results from your students learning online. Unit 16 is about how to teach large classes. When I first started teaching back in 2002, I finished my training, and within like maybe a month or something, I found myself in front of 60, 70 Chinese children, all with fixed desks that couldn't move, all facing me with like an actual legit chalkboard, blackboard, and I didn't really know what to do. There's an art to teaching large classes, and importantly, within large classes, you know, you might have taught large classes before. A big problem is kids, they fall through the gaps. They're at the back, you don't know their name, you don't really know how good they are at English, or what their problems are, what support they need. So you do need strategies to help you avoid that situation, so that all of your students, you know who they are, you understand them, you can differentiate your tasks, again, like we're using skills from Unit 14 within 16. Everything links together on this course. How to teach large classes effectively, to get students to be able to keep switched on, to deal with that different levels of ability within any large mixed level class has. How are you going to do that? So the course, the unit deals with that, basically, how to teach large classes well. Unit 17 is another large unit, and this time it's about the receptive skills. So that's reading and listening. And before language learners can produce language, they first need that input, that really important input, things that they hear and things that they see and the things that they read. And it's how to teach listening, how you as a teacher can do listening tasks and introduce and weave listening tasks into your classes with purpose, giving them that feedback that they need, and also reading, how to teach reading, how to use graded readers, adapt reading tasks. And within this unit, and also Unit 13, you'll come across BDA, which is before, during, after, and you are taught to break reading tasks and listening tasks into 3 sections. Pre-tasks, to get the students ready, to get them engaged, understand and feel motivated by the text and activate that schema. During tasks, things that they can do while they're on task, and then the all-important after tasks as well, where so much language learning is done, not just from you speaking, but everyone all speaking together and all the students kind of listening and taking everything in to really maximize each task. That's what you'll get from Unit 17. All right, the last 3 units, Unit 18 is all about how to develop yourself. How, after this 180-hour higher certificate in TESOL, it's a level 4 qualification. Probably one of the best online TESOL courses that you're going to find. It's a great course, but it doesn't stop there. How can you develop and become a better teacher after you've finished? And this is what Unit 18 is all about, investigating your areas of strength, investigating your areas of weakness, how you can develop a personal learning network with other people, especially with social media. You've got like Instagram, you've got Twitter, you've got Facebook. How can you use that to your advantage as an educator? And also your environments that you can develop as well. So Unit 18 is all about self-development. How can you go further? How can you continually improve? Unit 19 again is a very practical course. How to find a good job. You've coming to the end. You want to go abroad for the first time. How to really narrow down your search to find the perfect job for you. Maybe you're a teacher already, and you want to change. How can you identify that? We look at skills, interview skills, how you can make a better CV, how to make like an introductory video, things like that. Practical ways in order for you to land your next gig. And finally, Unit 20, where we look at culture shock for teachers going out of their comfort zone. Like me, I went over to China for the first time. I could barely use chopsticks. I could say hello in Chinese very badly, and that was about it. A complete fish out of water, as you will be going to teach abroad yourself, and what you can expect. So you come in, you've got that big buzz, you've got that big vibe. I can't believe I'm here. Wow, you have to pinch yourself. And then you go through different stages of adjustment. You get a frustration stage. Things bug you. You've had enough. You maybe feel symptoms of depression. You feel down. And then you get an acceptance stage, and then you rebound. This is very, very common. So we look at the different stages of adjustment that you'll do, and also importantly, the importance of cultural awareness of being a teacher. You're a language teacher, and you're going to have students of every different type, and the importance of understanding that and really respecting that cultural difference, and how to embrace that cultural difference to give yourself better lessons. And that's a wrap. So that's the course, that's the higher certificate in TESOL. If you click on the link below, you get a really sweet 20% off on this course. And so just click the link, you go straight to the website. You're able to pay, all normal methods. Put in that code. It takes like literally 5 minutes, and you're enrolled straight away. Free delivery of certificates worldwide, and it includes all tutor support. Throughout the course, there's video calls you can get from that you will get from your tutor, just to make sure that you're okay. Are you comfortable? Anything you're stuck with, you get the support that you need. It's there for you. A lot of other TEFL companies, you have to pay more for that. Oh, you want that? Okay, that's cough up basically. We don't do that. Like the price, that's everything. All of your materials, videos, audio, tutor support, delivery of the certificate at the end, everything. And that's it. Assessment, there is assessment of you, as any good TESOL course must have, or should have, must have. And it's threefold. You keep this really cool learner diary, so you can keep track of what you're learning. You'll be filling it in, you'll be reflecting on how you feel. How you feel that your learning is going, recycling those ideas. So that's one of the assessment methods, is the learner diary. And again, like no other course has this, as far as I'm aware. You know, keeping this learner diary, it's just such a different course, a course with a difference, and I know that you're going to love it very, very much. The other way that we assess you is by what's called these consolidation sections. So at the end of every unit, you go back and you look at the most important parts, answer questions, very well guided, and we guide you to the correct place to check. You go back over, you check it, just type your answer, send it to the tutor, Bob's your uncle, and your tutor will approve it, mark it, and then unlock the next course for the next unit. So you go through in a steady, wise, and yeah, just a steady way. We make sure that you don't kind of you're not jumping all over the place. There's a reason for the order, so your tutor will look after you. And the third way of assessment is a lesson plan at the end. You make your own lesson plan. So again, this is a very practical course, gives you that skills, your experience. So by the time you hit the classroom, for many of you for the first time, you're able to make lesson plans. You can teach speaking, you can teach listening, you can use supplementary materials, you understand assessment, you can teach online, you can teach large classes. This is a completely, this is a course with a difference, and by the end of it, you can hit it out of the park basically whenever you step into a classroom. And our accreditation body is ACDEC. It's one of the most difficult accreditation bodies to get accredited by. A very, very rigorous process that took me 2 years. 2 years of my life. In order to get that all-important stamp of approval by ACDEC. So this is a globally accredited course. It's a course with a difference, as I say. It's just a wonderful course. So anyway, if you're thinking about doing a TESOL certificate in order to teach language in your own country or to teach abroad, please choose the 180-hour highest certificate of TESOL. You will not be disappointed, I promise you. The link to the website is down below. The coupon is down below. You get 20% off using that coupon as a follower of this channel. And the best of luck. I'm sorry this has been a long video. I hope that you've enjoyed it. If you haven't subscribed already, please do so. Just take half a second to click subscribe and follow along. I really appreciate it. I'll be making more videos on each unit over the year, looking at each unit in much more detail as well as the normal kind of help videos that I do for TEFL teachers. Alright, thank you very much, and thanks for listening. If you're still here from the beginning, you're awesome. And I'll speak to you next time.